Hello there, and welcome back to another episode of the Binge Watch Brigade. Here, as always, Jim Bob Joe III over here with Jay-Z and Ajax, as per usual. Guys, how you doing this time?
Not too bad.
Doing all right. Can't complain.
Awesome. Yeah, Jay-Z, this was one of the episodes that you had recommended out. This time we watched Black Lagoon. I didn't expect that it was going to be what it was after you kind of described it as a little bit more of a Cowboy Bebop-esque anime. I was much more intrigued, and I was in from episode 1. I told you that from the minute we watched the first episode.
Did I not call it?
You did. You absolutely did.
No nut slaps.
Absolutely not. Ajax, you actually jumped a little bit ahead, actually, because we were talking about watching again. You were like, I made it to episode 8. We were like, well, all right, everybody sprint, I guess.
Which is
fun
cool. Fact, Crunchyroll, right? They combined season 1 and 2.
Crunchyroll?
Yeah, so season 1 is actually 2 seasons.
Mm-hmm.
Is it really?
Yeah.
How did I not know that? Is it only 12-episode seasons then?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Because, I mean, it is pretty common at this point. I mean, whenever you look at an anime season, it's basically going to be 12-episode seasons, 16-episode seasons, or 24-episode seasons.
Well,
It's
usually
like
the
25.
24-episode seasons are usually divided up into 2 cores.
Mm-hmm.
Or like 2 parts.
That's fair.
So like you have an overall, for instance, Sword Art Online, right? Season 1 had 24 episodes, but it was divvied up between Aincrad and then what was the other one, Alpha Online or whatever.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then you have animes like One Piece, which is finally about to start season 2.
Shut up, we don't
Which
talk
is
about One Piece here.
unreal, dude. What are we at? Episode 1300,
No,
1400?
it's like a little over 1,000, maybe 1,100. I can't remember. But
That's
this
It's
is the
still too
first.
many.
This is the first like big break they've taken. It's a 6-month break.
I mean, that's besides like the creator having to like take breaks off for like a surgery he had to have.
Well, that's just the manga. The anime takes random breaks here and there. Number-wise, there's a lot of filler, but that's because there's so many.
Oh,
Percentage-wise,
there's
it's
so much
very
filler.
low. Percentage-wise, it's extremely low.
Gotcha. Well, looking at Black Lagoon, I know that normally we save the regret, rewatch, or recommend for the end, but I feel like as we talk about everything through it, we kind of reveal what we would do. So I feel like we should just talk about that now.
Thanks, idea.
Rewatch, regret, or recommend. I will definitely be rewatching this one. I don't know about you guys. John, I figure this is the second or third time you've rewatched
This
it or
is
something.
the second time I've rewatched it, which is good because I forgot a lot of things. And after rewatching it, I've realized that I did that on purpose. And we'll get to that.
Okay, fair. I mean, it does allow like certain things to be a lot more of a shock.
Yeah, we'll talk about why I've forgotten them.
I
Fair.
would definitely just recommend it.
Okay.
Like this was my second this was my rewatch, and
Okay.
I don't know. I enjoyed it. I thought it was really good. I would definitely recommend it. As for rewatching it though,
Do you feel like this was kind of what you needed?
Yeah, like-
you got the one rewatch in, and now you're like, all right, I'm kind of good.
it might be something like I rewatch maybe like once a year, right? I think that
Okay.
would work, but like not something that I would like, not like a comfort anime like Slime, right? Slime,
Right.
I've rewatched probably 3 times in the past year, 4 times in the past year.
It's like
Pretty
me
gnarly,
falling asleep
actually, to think you've.
Hunter x Hunter every night.
Well, hey, at least you and I are falling asleep to the same creator. Mine's Yu Yu Hakusho, so.
Yeah, we each got our favorite Tagashi.
Well, mine is. We've talked about my anime style a little bit, and mine is very like tournament style esque. Like I love that kind of anime. I don't really know why. Like my comfort ones that I rewatch a lot are like Baki, Kengan Ashura, Yu Yu Hakusho. They're all like literally just
Well-
tournament style animes.
Yeah, because you can kind of zone out. It's a little mindless for the most part. Not that Yu Yu Hakusho is. The other ones.
Yeah, but I mean, there is a big story. Like, I mean, let's be realistic. Baki's been going since like the 1970s,
Which
1980s.
I
something.
skipped the entire first anime and was fine somehow.
Yeah, they do a really good job of keeping you involved and getting you into what's going on without you having to watch the beginning. I will say if you go into Baki Hanma without watching Baki, you're going to get a little bit confused, but that's just because like Baki Hanma was led up to by Baki. But then you have like Baki the Grappler, and then like in Baki they talk about how Baki is the underworld champion, and they don't really talk about like they don't show what happened other than like some snippets of like some very specific matches that were very fundamental to the story that they're telling right then. But you actually get to see the tournament in the older ones, like the original ones. I actually found out some of them are available on YouTube for free, so that was actually pretty sweet.
Dope.
But no, absolutely. This is one of those. So we got 2 rewatch and then a recommend. So I would say that ranks pretty high.
Well, again, I don't know if I would rewatch. Maybe.
So you're on the fence. You're on the fence.
Yeah. It's not that it's bad. I absolutely love this anime. It's so good. But there's reasons that I might not rewatch it now that I've remembered.
That's fair.
There are
fair.
some moments, yeah.
How did you guys feel about the first 3 episodes, like kind of the starting of the show? I feel like it starts off very fast. I mean,
it immediately grips you from the very beginning. Like
a gun pointed in your fucking face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was quite the introduction.
I can't say I've ever had an anime start where literally they're showing you the rifling of a barrel being pointed directly at you. It's like, oh, I like kind of like want to put my hands up. Like, what'd I do?
Yeah. Yeah.
Though that you saying that kind of Rock, the main character, is probably one of the most relatable characters ever. But you saying that, like, you could feel Rock most of the season, like most of this anime. You feel him really, and that's
yeah. Dude, I agree with you 100%. Rock is really somebody who you can absolutely see is teetering on the edge of being risky or being safe. And I feel like everybody really has to come to grip with those decisions all the time. And there is a point really late in the season where you'll hear us refer to him living in the twilight. And I feel like a lot of people live in the twilight. The first 3 episodes, I would definitely say the beginning for me of getting to know Dutch, Benny, Revy, getting to kind of see their little dynamic and getting to see how things are moving across and getting to see Rock transition from Rockero, what is his real name, to becoming Rock, and kind of cementing his position of where he is within the Lagoon Company. The Lagoon Company is a smuggling organization that work out of a couple different countries, but they essentially will take legitimate jobs or illegitimate jobs. They will do just about anything to turn a really good profit. And in the very beginning, you encounter Dutch, who is the leader of the Lagoon Company, and Revy, who is also known as Two Hands, and also to some people, Mommy.
Or bad bitch.
She is a bad bitch.
That
Revy is a amazing assassin and hunter. You find out a lot about her upbringing, and I'll say a lot about her upbringing, and it's about as much as you need to know to understand that she did not have a good upbringing at all, and you really understand why she is the way that she is, along with a couple other characters. Like this anime gets dark in certain sections, like very dark.
Oh, it's a seinen. That's what they do. That's why I like them.
That's fair. What were your thoughts walking into it, Jay-Z? I know that you've watched it a long time ago. Aaron, you watched it a long time ago.
Yeah.
What were your kind of thoughts walking into it, especially now?
Well, so when I first watched it, I was probably not old enough to watch it, but hey, whatever. My friends were like, "Hey, you like Cowboy Bebop? Watch this show." So I did.
That's fair.
And obviously it makes sense why they said that and why I like it as well. It's very similar. It has the only thing it doesn't have is the jazz behind it, and that's why it's not my favorite, because Cowboy Bebop is so cool. But but it's also not sci-fi, obviously. But it's just the dark, grimy, I don't know, crime-ridden anime, kind of like Cowboy Bebop is. And I'm such a good
Just
boy
instead of
that
going
I
in
like.
space, you're in Raniper.
Right. I'm such a good boy that I like the opposite of what I am in real life. You know what I mean?
Fair.
That's fair.
So that's me going into it.
See, I'm
What
a
about
bit of
you,
the
Ajax?
opposite, right? I don't like these styles of these types of animes.
Any
I
particular reason?
He's a shonen boy.
Yes. There's a very particular reason behind that though, and that's because when you've seen some shit and when you've done some shit, seeing similar shit on TV can bring back not so fond memories.
I feel
Yeah.
like you're getting ready to go into like a fucking D-Day Vietnam, some kind of PTSD moment. You okay?
No, it's just like it just you like I don't know. I don't like thinking about certain things that I've seen, certain things that I've done.
Okay. So it's more or less of like it brings up like kind of the darker nature of the show like brings up kind of like somewhat like more deep-seated emotions within you.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, that's fair. I could see why. There is a lot of conversation in this show where people like Balalaika, who is the leader of Hotel Moscow, which is got ties.
The Raniper branch.
Yeah, the Roanoper branch, which you find out she is also a crazy badass bitch.
Bad bitch.
Go bad bitch, go bad bitch, go. She goes in the show for sure. You see a lot of instances where Balalaika or Revi, aka Two Hands, where they are really trying to cement it into Rock's head of you are going to die one day. The world is cruel. This is how things are. You have to either come to grips with it or live in a fantasy land and go back to your normal life. Because he's really trying to get more involved. At least that's what it appears like on the surface of things. He's really trying to get more and more involved in this because in the very beginning, he is working for a company for, it's like inventory and shipping.
Yeah.
And he had to deal with a lot of like manifests and stuff like that. So a lot of times, he really didn't like his job. It was very mundane. And then the Lagoon company comes in and pirates the ship, takes it over. They take a disc and kidnap Rock because Revi thinks it's going to earn her a bunch of money. And then he basically gets tossed to the wayside. His company literally only cares about the discs, and they tell him that he was basically dead from the minute they heard he got kidnapped. So he could just not, he could come along or he could leave. And he decides to stay with the Lagoon company. And he is very out of place, like really, really out of place, especially in the very beginning. But there's a lot of moments where as he's moving through this underworld scene, he's really being exposed to things that he's not normally exposed to. He's also being kind of forced to learn about a different way of life that he is not a part of.
Yeah.
Did you hate the art style on this one?
No, I actually really enjoyed it.
Okay.
Yeah, the art style's great. Animation's, 90s animation. So for then, it's great. But you can't really ask too much more out of it. But the art style's, I love it. Character design's great.
How do you feel about music in this one? I mean, I really don't feel like there was
not much of an OST to it. I like the intro. It's very nostalgic for me because it's very 90s anime intro. My favorite thing about the show, honestly, though, especially like it hits you right away in that first episode, is when they start playing the end theme before you get to the end. I love it.
It's such an ominous, low tone. Like you know the episode's coming to a close, and it hits you.
And it
Yeah.
fits too. It fits so well.
It does. It really, really does. getting into a lot of characters in the show. This one has quite a few, actually. Mm-hmm. Were
quite
there
a few
any
entertaining or interesting ones? That's for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. I do feel like this one actually had like a couple of really shitty characters in this one that I just like. I'm glad they died.
Yeah.
Like I'm glad. So like the like really
the
late
neo-Nazis?
on. Oh yeah, dude, the neo-Nazis getting killed.
Based.
Oh, absolutely. The main characters that I think of in this show, I really wish there was more of Dutch. Dutch is such a cool character.
Need more Dutch. Definitely need more Benny.
Dutch is the leader of the Lagoon company. Benny is their general IT specialist and an absolute wizard.
He's kind of similar to Rock in that like he wasn't meant to be part of the crew, but kind of I think they saved him if I remember correctly, and then he just chose to. And he like lives in that world, but not physically per se.
No, I mean he's not into like killing and shooting and stuff like that. He doesn't really care for all that stuff, but he doesn't really care about how he earns his money as long as he can make it. Which he's a super talented like hacker and programmer. Mm-hmm. So on top of all the other equipment that he has. Mm-hmm. Just because I want to talk about shitty characters, the arc where they have to go retrieve Broomhilda from the U-boat.
Oh yeah,
really,
yeah.
Dude. So there's a moment that you have where you find out that, you know, there's always, you know, the Nazis fled to Argentina and other different countries. Well, there's a moment where a U-boat's leaving and they're talking about the forward progression of the Reich. And a SS officer, three SS officers in total?
I can't remember.
I know there's two. I know that there's two SS officers. The guy who's carrying Broomhilda, I can't remember his exact. He's a higher up, like a captain or something like that.
Yeah, he's the only one I could remember for sure was SS.
Yeah, him and one other guy for sure, because they point those two guys out.
Oh,
but the other German soldiers are looking at him, and you know they're really starting to pick apart. They're like, man, the officers like are a whole different breed. They're crazy. Like they have just a different mentality. They're not just a German soldier. I think they almost like refer to the fact that they're more of like the radicals.
Mm-hmm. So one thing I will say, I know I said like all the neo-Nazis and stuff, but like that captain of that U-boat, he was like just a normal person, and you could tell
100%.
Because he was kind of like, you could tell he only fought because his country was fighting. And that's it, because he was like, he said something like, I hope it falls and never comes back," or something like that.
Well, because he doesn't want to fire on. No, he wants to fire on a bunch of boats for the motherland, but the officer is like, no, like this doesn't make any freaking sense. Mm-hmm. Like we need to just keep going, and we need to protect the cargo because he's carrying the Broomhilda, which is a painting that was done
by an unknown artist.
Yes. I was going to say under a potential pseudonym for Adolf Hitler.
Well, so, to be fair, another guy later says that painting's too good to be Hitler's.
Yeah, for sure. So, I mean, that you learn that a little bit later, but that's what they believe, is that they believe that this is truly an Adolf Hitler painting that is supposed to bring pride and motivation to the troops. It's supposed to be their savior, which I don't know if anybody actually knows, but Broomhilda is actually like a folklore thing for Germany. Like there are multiple different legends around Broomhilda. So she is actually like a significant figure within German culture.
Can I talk about...
Was she Norse?
German.
Okay.
Can I talk about some beef I have with Black Lagoon real quick?
Go.
Yeah.
It's going to talk about revolvers.
Yes. Are you talking about beef or pork?
No, I am talking about the Smith & Wesson Model 629 that Dutch used.
I love that this is your biggest gripe.
Motherfucker fired 8 rounds out of a 6-shot revolver. I
mean, you don't know. Maybe he reloaded before he started taking. You don't know. You didn't see it.
It was successive shots, one right after the other.
At least later in the season or later in the show, they did say no shell casings. It was a revolver. So they kind of like, there is some gun knowledge in the anime.
There is some, yes. But there's also lack thereof.
Hey, at least it wasn't 20. Okay, at least it was close.
Yeah, at least it wasn't like he was firing like like an SMG's mag worth of rounds through a revolver. That's busted. I do kind of get irritated sometimes whenever, like, granted that you do see a lot of reloading clips, but have you noticed like Revy will just fire forever?
Yeah, well, in my mind, she's just reloading off screen.
I'm
and then they show you the
also-
cool
That's what I
reloads.
feel too.
Yeah,
I
I
feel
was
like-
also annoyed by that because I count bullets in movies and TV shows. I count bullets and I wait for reload. And they
In
listen
my
to
I
mind,
just
every
imagine-
time. In my mind, every time they go away from her shooting for like a split second, she reloaded in that minute or in that split second.
In my mind, she's part of the movie Wanted, and she literally just like reloads at instant speed.
Right.
Like here's the thing, right? And I think this is because I'm like autistic, when like super. I don't know if I could say that.
I mean,
Fuck it.
anyway.
I'm a little anal when it comes to that kind of thing, and it's just reload.
Realism of firearms actually bothers you.
Yes, so much. Like, and I get like you think that she's reloading whenever she's off screen. Sometimes they only fire 5 shots. Are you saying out of the 15-round magazine that the 92F has, that she's firing 5 rounds and then doing a tactical reload and saving the 10 others? I mean, that's possible. But it's
Yes,
highly unlikely
little do you know.
that she's doing that.
Little do you know that every single time she ejects a mag and there is any rounds left in it, she at the flash speed unloads the mag and throws them back in the gun she's using right now. It's perfect. It fills all the gaps.
Honestly, the thing that bothered me most was every time she would just leave the mags just laying. Like,
I know.
those
like,
cost
she complained
money.
I was gonna say she complained about how much that the rounds cost. Wouldn't you want to go pick up the mags?
Right.
I mean, the mags are probably $30 a magazine.
Yeah, that's not cheap.
It's over time that stacks up.
Yeah. Yeah, if she just within probably 3 missions, she probably left $300 just laying around.
Still continuing on characters though, dude. I loved Chen from the Triads.
You mean Mr. Chang?
Boss Chen. Oh yeah, Mr. Chang.
Yeah, he might be my favorite non-Lagoon member. Honestly,
I think he's mine too.
he's so cool.
I love whenever he's like, I haven't fired a gun in a while, but what the hell? It's fun being back out in the field, and just like whips out these like, which I was going to talk to you guys about this, of like if you guys had any favorite guns from the show, because if you do, I have mine, and mine is Chang's pistols, because they've got that badass like green dragon going down the fucking the handle and shit, the grip and shit. Like Revy's cutlasses are cool. They've got like
I love her cutlasses. You could buy the grips. I've looked it up
Can you?
because I want to.
I'm a big fan of
bet
the
you could,
92Fs that Revy uses, but I'm also a big fan
Her
of
Berettas.
the revolver.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm slightly surprised that neither of you picked the sister's golden deagle.
Bro, that was sick when she just pulls it out.
Yep. There's a section in the show where you end up going to a church and you just think it's a church. It's fucking not. It's called the Rip-Off Church, and they sell fucking guns, and they're all just like, it's a bunch of nuns that are just armed to the teeth.
Bro,
That was one of the best twists that could have happened in the show for me. I was like, this is the coolest place ever.
in the little, I don't know if he was a priest or a pastor or whatever he was, just brings out the machine gun.
Oh, he's the cardinal in training.
That's right. That's what he was.
Yeah, he's a cardinal in training, and he looks at Edda, and he's like, I've heard so much about you. She's like, shut up and keep firing. We had a moment in part of the show where there's a woman she's trying to counterfeit the perfect bills, and during this process she gets chased and she ends up at the ripoff church. And I do love the way that the ripoff church will actually quote like biblical for like the like the verses and shit, and it will play out perfectly for the situation where it's like, I told you to go away, haven't you read blah blah blah, and it's like they'll read the actual quote, and it's like, holy shit, that actually falls in line perfectly with this crazy violent nature that you guys are wrapped around somehow.
Yeah, it's very fitting that they do that. They got to pretend they're a church somehow. They're actually a church, though.
They are, is the best part. I love whenever they decide not to kill the one chick, and then they were like, Etta, the one nun, was like, yeah, just go ahead and throw $300 in the collection bin. She was like, holy shit, you guys actually are a church. That was such a great moment. Mm-hmm. I actually do really like Balalaika. I like her a lot. I can't 100% tell you why, though. She just has this like super allure of a character who is so intelligent. She is so forward thinking. She is absolutely charismatic with her soldiers, and she's able to.
It's the love of her soldiers. That's why I like her so much. She just has that loyalty, and she had to have earned it somehow.
Well, you see scenes where they were fighting for the Soviet Union, and she led her troops to victory on so many occasions. Mm-hmm. They actually do get kind of misjudged and underestimated a lot throughout the show because they're dealing with a lot of just underground gangs, and those underground gangs are not used to fighting a military, a battle-hardened, trained Soviet military. That's what Balalaika's squad truly is. Now, granted, the line level guys are just line level guys. They're just thugs that Balalaika pays, or the Russian mob pays, or some section of that pays. But
right, but her guys,
Balalaika's guys. I do like the sergeant. Sergeant's cool.
Boris. Her number one, her number two or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah.
The dude with the super deep voice that kind of trails off at the end, and it bothers my brain.
Yeah. Just as a weird thing, did you guys notice during all the scenes where Balalaika is in with the Yakuza and Revy and everybody, that when they're talking in English, they're actually doing their English dubbed actors' voices, but anytime that the Japanese speak Japanese, it's the actual voice actor from Japanese's voice.
Yeah, but the thing that I didn't like is that they didn't translate most of it. Like, you barely heard Rock saying what they said.
I know, that bothered me a lot, because granted, have you actually noticed that as another thing too, just because I want to talk about this because it bothers the hell out of me? Do any of you guys ever watch a movie on like DVD or Blu-ray? I know that's like a foreign concept to some people who might listen to this. It's this fancy little silver disc that went inside a machine, and then the machine showed images on a fancy screen.
Don't really even start with VHSs, man.
Dude, get the pencil, bro. Get the pencil for that tape. Bonus points if you understand that one. But if you watch it on like a physical medium and then you watch it on some streaming services, certain sections that are subtitled for somebody speaking a foreign language in the physical medium, the fucking translation's not there in the digital medium. It makes me so angry because I know that you actually get to find out what that person fucking said in the physical medium. I got it right over there. It's in a box in a closet because I don't have anything that plays those anymore, but I can get something and I'll prove it.
But like, you could probably get those if you turn subtitles on, but you shouldn't have to turn subtitles on.
Right.
Dubbed is better than subbed.
My hand's in the air.
It depends.
These
days, it's probably true.
I do have a little bit of an issue with once I start an anime in a specific thing, I have to finish it that way because all of my perception has been dialed into this. And I don't know if you guys have this problem, but for me, I started Attack on Titan subbed. I can't deal with it dubbed. I can't. Armin is a little bitch in the subbed, and he doesn't sound like a little bitch in the dub version, and it bothers me because I'm like, I know
he is
he's
a little bitch.
Yeah, he's a little bitch, and he doesn't sound like a little bitch. He sounds like a badass, and he shouldn't because he's a little bitch. So turn it back. Put the Japanese voice back in. I don't know. I feel like I don't know if I'm alone there.
I'm with you on the starting it one way and having to stick with it. Typically, it depends. If it's something I love, I will. Like, I started Slime and dubbed, but I just watched all of last season subbed as it came out because I could not wait. Whereas
I've been watching
the first
Solo
half.
Leveling subbed.
That's how good it is, bro.
By the
Then
way,
I'll watch it in Korean dub, and then I watch it in English dub.
we have gotten so many requests from people to do solo leveling. I feel like we might have to do it.
So
Wait, have we?
Oh, dude.
So here's the thing. Former member and I were going to do season 1. But there's not much there. I feel like we should just do 1 and 2 together and we'll be fine.
There is so much to cover.
That's fine.
In season
there
2.
wasn't
We would
yeah,
have to
there
kind
wasn't
of
much
gloss over season 1. Which is
and
fair.
You could though because there's really not much there.
I would disagree with that wholeheartedly.
So we're doing an episode on this, and we're
We're
going
gonna
to
have to do an episode. Yeah, we're
boys.
gonna have to do an episode on this now, just so I can debate you and prove you wrong.
Speaking of scheduling things, we do need to start scheduling our guest appearances. We have a couple that we are really excited to do, so we need to start scheduling those out.
I was literally just about to talk about one of those. Kind of. Demon Slayer, that should give you a hint, is one of those ones where I started in dubbed, tried to go sub for this last season, got through the opening scene, which was awesome. Then as soon as, what's his name, the little lightning boy, started talking, I was like, I don't care about this enough. Yeah,
You mean Alex Lee?
No. In Japanese.
Oh, okay. I was like,
Yeah.
Hold up.
So, because I don't like the character, he's annoying. So as soon as he started talking, and I had to read what he's saying, I'm like, you know what? I'll wait. And guess what? I still haven't watched the season. Still haven't watched it. I like Demon Slayer. I just don't love it. So that's gonna be a rough one. Not a rough one. We're gonna have some debate when said guest comes on.
Fair.
Said guest is probably going to beat you up, just so you're aware.
I know. We've had these conversations many times.
I'm looking forward to listening to the verbal abuse that's going to take place.
This is making me sad because my brain is too stupid to figure out who it is.
Cameron.
I was going to say, is it Cameron? Mm-hmm. Big Booty Judy coming on the set. All right.
Big Booty Judy. Don't
Guys, for anyone who doesn't know our friend Cameron, he's a dump truck, bro. He's a moving dump truck. It's ridiculous.
Now that
he's
sounds
an
like
ass.
you're calling him
He's an
fat.
ass with a body.
Yeah.
It sounds like you're just calling him an ass.
I mean, yes.
Fair. He is just an ass with a body.
God damn it. All right. So, God damn it.
Anyway,
I was the Yakuza dude who I don't even want to commit his name to freaking memory. The guy who gets killed by.
Oh, the like strip club owner guy,
Yeah.
the blonde dude with all the
Dude,
piercings.
when that guy gets killed, I wanted to clap.
I wanted it
because
to be worse.
They did too. They even said that his punishment should be worse. At one point, there is a Yakuza family who basically the head of the family is dead, and the only option is for them to have their 14-year-old next heir essentially step into play. and she jumps into the underworld with both feet. She knows what she's jumping into, but she doesn't realize how much is out for her. And she comes home and gets kidnapped by a group of guys who first beat the shit out of her. And then they start beating the shit out of each other for beating the shit out of her. And then they take her to a bowling alley. And every single time the one dude scores enough points, they make her strip more. So when they find her, she's basically in her underwear and a jacket. And they tell her, oh, by the way, first off, if I can't do anything about your bodyguard, like, we'll figure out how to kill him. We'll kill him in front of you. Then after we kill him, we are going to try and sell you. And if we can't sell you, we are going to pimp you out to a dude who literally is going to make you eat his shit and jack off to it. Like, that is such a dark moment in this show.
Not the darkest.
I was going to say, I don't think it's the darkest, which is crazy to say.
Yeah. I think we're saving that shit for last.
Yeah, that shit's coming last. And coincidentally enough, it happened before this in the show.
It was the very first arc of what would have been second season, but yeah, we'll get there.
Yeah, we'll get to that. But in this moment, you can see that she's crying, or she wants to cry, but she's like really trying to hold it all together. And she realizes that she made this decision and she needs to live up to it, which is insane to come to the realization of whenever her and Rock are having the conversation that they have where Rock is trying to save her and she feels like Rock is just trying to save the last good part of his old life. That way his old life won't technically die anymore and he's not like stuck in between both worlds. That's a whole big, like, I think for Rock, that was a big moment for him. That you can tell that hit him hard, that whole sequence.
Right. Well, it hit him hard in different ways. Some other things hit him pretty hard in worse ways, but this one hit him hard in a different way. But it was something that needed to hit him to make him realize what his role is in his own life.
Yeah. Yukio is a mystery to me, man. I feel like she should have taken the out. I really do.
So, like, she proved to be pretty smart for the most part. I think the biggest issue, the biggest mistake she made was messing with Rock and Revy, who, let's be honest, didn't really have much to do with this.
No,
he
the battle was over.
Translator, right? He was just a translator, and she was just his bodyguard.
Yeah.
If they had left him alone, they'd probably still be alive.
Yeah, 100%. If they would have just fucked off, they would have been fine.
But
they literally could have gone out and resurfaced somewhere or stayed within Tokyo, and they could have led a life. And she chose wrong.
Yeah, but probably the second biggest badass in the show decided to pick a fight with the biggest badass in the show and lost.
Yep. I will say cutting bullets is pretty badass with a katana.
Wait, what'd you say? Jimbo?
Cutting bullets with a katana is pretty badass. Though.
Oh yeah. Yeah, it is.
Major Deadpool vibes from the Wolverine movie, Wolverine Origins.
Yeah. This dude was cooler than him because that character sucked in that movie.
Okay, people are dead.
Deadpool in the Deadpool movies is a different story.
Wow, locked in an elevator with 5 guys on a high-protein diet. A guy couldn't get so lucky.
I didn't say he wasn't funny.
Right? I mean, it's still Ryan Reynolds. It's still Deadpool, the essence, just in a crappy movie. Mm-hmm. Well, crappy backstory. Well, not accurate backstory. I didn't hate the movie, truthfully, but...
Bro, I saw that movie before, so it leaked. I don't know if you remember this. It leaked without CGI.
Oh.
Yeah, so everybody watched this movie months before it came out without CGI, and it was the funniest shit.
I might need to look this up if I can.
You probably can.
Somebody has to have it somewhere.
More than likely, but that was a highlight of my like. I think that was my last year of high school.
Lots
That's
of
awesome.
lots of weird things happened no, that was more middle school for me. Never mind.
Yeah, you're a little younger.
Yeah, the internet was a little bit weird when I was in middle school.
Yeah, I would say that and like Trogdor were like the highlights of my. I think it was senior year.
Trogdor was a man. I mean,
Back to,
he was a dragon man.
So back to Black Lagoon.
I want to talk about the getaway driver and Shen Hao.
Yeah.
Dude, the Irish stoner getaway driver who literally is just tripping balls for some reason while like full speed. And the pride he takes in his fucking Jeep. Oh my God, that guy is so amazing. What is it he keeps saying? Oh, my application for the Black Panthers got denied again. I think he said it like 3 times.
And then you find out later that he got so high he's just stuck in it now.
Yeah, she said he never came down.
Speaking, this is why I say dub now is really good. It might be better than subbed, but back then wasn't, because her voice was atrocious.
I will say, I think the English voice actors have come a long way.
Oh yeah, Alex Lee's the best voice actor in the game. Period.
I was trying to figure out who Rockero is voiced by, and
It's what's his name from Hikaru no Go, the spirit.
Sai?
Sai. Yeah, it's Sai.
Yeah, I was well, and that was the most funny thing for me is whenever I was watching it, I'm like, I know I've heard this voice very recently.
Yeah, very recently.
Yeah, very recently, to the point where we just watched a whole 25 episodes of it.
The personality is different, so it sounds a little different, but you could tell it's him.
Yeah. I think the thing that got it for me is whenever Sai says Hikaru, that's where like the voice kind of lines up.
Revy.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh man.
Okay, we're ready to talk about the darkness.
Are we gonna be talking about?
Yeah, I think it's
Bloodsport
time.
Fairy Tale.
Yeah,
The
this
Murder Twins.
I completely forgot this entire arc, and by forget, I'm pretty sure my mind just blocked it out. It's fucked.
Why'd you take me down this
It
road?
makes me so uncomfortable
Yeah,
and angry at the same time.
as
the
it should
rage-
for any human being ever.
The rage I felt watching this. The felonies that would be committed.
Yeah, this is when I said you could feel Rock throughout this show. I'm pretty sure his and my soul broke when all the revelations were happening.
Yeah.
It's not something that somebody could easily look past, especially like I don't understand how Balalaika was able to do it.
I don't know how she was able to sit there and watch all that stuff.
She's just desensitized to everything, man. That's the
Yeah.
only thing it can be, because that is brutal. Throughout a section of the show, right around the beginning of the second season, there ends up being some murders that are happening, and they're all dying in the exact same way. And all the leaders of the city that they all live in, Roanoper, it's basically like just a outlaw fucking city. Like the outlaws run the whole thing. Balalaika is basically what keeps it in check. But that's where like Chang from the Triads and a couple other people are. There's an Italian gang there. And they all start having a meeting together where they're like kind of accusing each other of starting it. And then they realize that like, the only thing that we can do is, well, Chang realizes the only thing we can do is, all right, if none of us is doing this, it's an outsider. So let's work together to kill the outsider. And then Balalaika basically just does what she always does and says, fuck you, I'm going to blow up this city if I have to, I'll kill him. So she goes off and starts working on it, and you find out that it's a set of children who's actually killing everybody. And it's a set of identical twins. And there's no lead up to how dark this turns. Because
let's put a trigger warning here.
Yeah, absolutely. If you
also don't use the real words.
Yeah, we're gonna put a trigger warning here. If you we are about to talk about some very sensitive stuff that could trigger people. If you want to tune out now, we understand. If you stay, just know that this is brutal.
This section of the episode is not easy to watch, let alone listen to somebody talk about it. So we totally get it if you can't or don't want to stay for this section, but it is a little bit graphic. So with the two children, they're trying to really figure out, what is going on, who these kids are. They start looking at orphanages and kind of trying to check any background stuff. And Balalaika starts thinking about their tactics and realizes that they must have started off in a really rough way. So she actually gets a hold of one of her contacts and gets her as much pedophile pornographic material as she possibly can. The darkest types of movies that she can get her hands on. And she just starts watching them, trying to find something that will trigger her to believe that it's one of the children that is doing all the killing. And she runs across one that really hits her. And then she figures out that these are the two that are doing all the killings.
Well, so what leads her to this is a survivor of one of their attacks said it was kids. And that's
yes, correct.
Yeah,
the police reported to Balalaika that it was a set of children. They were young, and they were dressed all in black as if they were going to a funeral. And you find out that these two kids actually were bought after being orphans, and they actually were forced to kill other children that had been purchased as well. And one of the children at one point actually talks about during this, they watched their captors kill a child and then start laughing, and then they started laughing along with their captors, ending up just believing that this is just how the world works and that they need to be violent, and there are those who kill and those who don't. And in their mind, which is a crazy twisted point, is that the more they kill, the longer that they'll live, because they've killed so many people, they will never die. And they don't show anything really happening to the children. I will be very specific about that. They don't go into detail about it. This is not, they didn't glorify the situation. So there's the point that actually confused me, to be honest with you, is whenever the kids are staying in the hotel room and they swap outfits. Mm-hmm. And the brother becomes the sister by putting on his sister's clothes and, a wig and everything, and disguising his voice. And then later on, his sister is actually killed. And
was it, or was it him?
It was the sister. They bring it up.
It's tough.
Yeah, well, there's also the point where they flash their goods to Rock as a gift.
He calls her she after that. That's why I'm saying.
Yeah,
that.
so it.
Yeah, because he was like the only person that's ever been nice to her, and she thinks to reward him, to show him her area, because that's the way they were, brought up. That's when his soul broke, and that's when my soul broke.
100%. I also thought that the way that Rock figured out the little nicknames that they have for each other were that's where they find out where they're from. Mm-hmm. And that was another thing that helped Balalaika, is they figured out that they were calling each other nicknames that corresponded with vampires. So they actually determined that the kids were from Romania, and that was like a huge key thing for finding out who they were. And in one portion, you see that they were torturing one of Balalaika's main troops, and they talked about he had been dead for a while, but they can continue to drive nails into his head and he still twitches. Like, that's crazy. They're so satanic. And then they realize that they shouldn't waste the blood, so they decide they're gonna bathe in it. Like, these kids were so mistreated and tortured, and that was the part where I was like, do I really want to keep watching, like, truthfully? But I will say, getting past that bit of an arc, the rest of the show is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, it went
and
back to normal gangster stuff.
I would say
back to
though
normal
that
gangster
episode
shit.
alone is enough to make you not want to rewatch the entire anime.
That's why I said what I said.
Yep.
That episode
absolutely.
alone is a punch to the gut, and then you didn't know that the person had a knife and it was twisting it. Like it hurts.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So those series of episodes is definitely not for the faint of heart. It's really kind of hard to get through if you are really not good with that kind of material. So just understand.
Let's change the recommendation then. If that is something you don't want to see, just skip that arc. It's like they talk about vampires and stuff in the titles. You'll know which episodes it is. You'll know exactly when the next arc starts if you just read the titles and stuff. Just skip that and watch everything else because it's great.
Yeah, everything else is fantastic. I will say I don't hate the arc. It's just really hard to watch.
Yeah.
I think coincidentally enough, it was kind of important for Rock.
Right.
Like, it truthfully, as much as I don't like the content matter, like it truthfully was like a big thing for Rock. And the way that arc ends is insane. Like, Rock's response of leaving her on the dock so that she could be by the water and look at the sky.
Yeah.
Like that was a moment. So let's get away from all this sad shit. Let's get away from it. It's a really sad part that we had to address, but
there's another arc that we didn't talk about, so we could talk about it real quick. The maid, the bad bitch, Roberta.
Yes.
Roberta's a crazy ass bitch.
Yeah.
Dude. There's a section where there's a piece of cargo, which is what Lagoon Company is told that they have to transport is, and it's actually a child named Garcia. And he's from the Lovelace family, which is actually like a prominent family within South America. Mm-hmm. And the Lagoon Company actually doesn't even believe he's from that family at first. And then Rock actually knows a lot about that family just due to his like old company ties.
Yeah, because they did rare earth minerals and stuff, I believe it was, with that area of the world.
So with him being transported, he talks about that there's only one person who still works at their family's plantation house, basically, because his family's going broke. Like, his family is like, it's a prominent family within the area, but it is the lowest tier family in the whole country. So his family's noble, but they're not wealthy. Not anymore. And this one maid that they have is actually a fucking ex-assassin who is known as the Bloodhound because she never lost a target. Dude, she's the fucking Terminator, bro. I don't care what you say. She's the goddamn Terminator.
That's what they said. Just pretend like that she is the Terminator. Well, they didn't say the word Terminator, but actually they might have.
They did. They did at one point.
Yeah, but they're like, pretend that she is. So treat her like that.
At one point when they hit her with a fucking truck and then slam on the brakes and throw her into a damn shipping container, and she just like gets up and walks towards them. Like, no. Like, this show, I think, does a really good job of, like, with some shows, they portray that everybody's human, normal human, but in turn they actually have like a family trait or like a special genetic mutation or something that allows them to be extraordinary. This is supposed to be like everybody's normal. Like, that's like, people are humans. Ain't nothing crazy. And this chick is basically made out of adamantium. Like, she just takes everything. Her crazy briefcase gun was wild, too.
Yeah. Her
Briefcase gun.
too.
The umbrella gun. Mm-hmm. Which, that was a crazy arc, too, because all she's trying to do is take Garcia back, and Garcia actually doesn't even want to go at one point.
Yeah, because she's not who she was to him anymore because she's killing people and stuff.
Yep. To her,
you can't just go around killing people.
I mean, you can.
That's a Terminator line.
Yep. That was an arc that I feel like it could have been a filler arc. I don't know.
Maybe because it wasn't important to the overall story or anything, but that's where you first see that Balalaika's troops are definitely soldiers.
Oh, no, yeah, because in the twin arc is where you see their full capacity.
Yeah.
Which, that is one thing I will really say I like about that arc is Balalaika's. That's really where it shows how intelligent and organized she is. That whole arc is insane.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So back to Roberta, there is a little spin-off 5-episode thing that we didn't watch that's all about her. So if you wanted to watch that. I haven't watched it.
I was going to say, I feel like I'm going to end up going through and watching that. Mm-hmm. I kind of want to.
I might. Cleanse
so
the
how does
palate.
this one rank for you guys? Is it high up there? Is it low up there? Where's this one for you guys? I would say I really like this one. I would say it could be in my top 10.
I think it probably used to be in my top 10, but there's been a lot of good ones coming out.
It has to.
Then.
Yeah, it's definitely dropped. I think it's in like my top 20.
Mm-hmm. That's probably where it is for me too. At best 15, but probably 20.
I think I don't think I can put it in top 15.
Yeah, that's fair.
I could definitely see this one being. I could safely say top 15. Like, if I wanted to say a safe number, this would probably be in my top 15.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know. It's definitely not in my top 5. I would say it getting into my top 10 would be kind of hard. Getting into my top 15, I could see it.
It's definitely not for the faint of heart.
No, absolutely not. This is much more of an adult geared anime and manga series.
This makes you I'm kind of thinking my next one's going to be sort of similar because it's another seinen, but another one in the future. I'm definitely going to pick another one that is going to shatter your soul like it did mine.
I'm going to fight you. I'm going to fight you.
You've watched this one.
Which?
Made in Abyss.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to shatter. I just want to break Hanchi's soul into a billion different pieces.
We should have him watch Yearly in April.
Oh, we will at some point because I want to.
I'm gonna make. If you guys haven't seen Your Name, I'm gonna make you guys cry eventually.
I wanna do that as well. Eventually, we'll get there.
Guys, we have a lot on the docket. We have a lot of ones that we want to cover. We've all watched a lot, and we just keep basically like reorganizing the schedule a million times because every time we're just.
I'm not changing my next pick because it's one I haven't seen and I really want to. So
I'm not changing my next pick.
No, because that's the next one we're gonna watch. And I really
and
want
the one
Nick to watch it.
That Nick,
Jim Bob's gotta watch it.
I'm really excited for this one because we are going to hopefully revisit Rabatuza in Shangri-La Frontier Season 2.
No, that was mine. We're going back to slime.
Oh, I know, but
don't be sad. I promise you.
Sad.
You will not be
you
sad.
Like season 1 of Slime, right?
Yeah.
Season 2.
The real answer, honestly, is
better.
We are going to be watching season 2 of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime. I'm just very, 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 very excited to go back to Rabatuza.
We will.
I want to go back. I want to go back. But we're going to go back to the Tempest Alliance. We are going to revisit our
Jura-Tempest
friend
Federation.
Rimuru. Yeah, we're gonna revisit our friend Rimuru, and I'm hoping that Gabiru doesn't suck ass still.
I love Gabiru.
I
and you
love
will too.
Gabiru. Gabiru is fantastic.
Would you, Jay-Z, would you equate Gabiru to the beautiful Suzuki?
Oh. Yeah, actually. Very much so.
That's all I think of every time he's on screen. I'm not gonna lie. That's all I think of.
Even the face turn.
I know. That's why I think of it. He's a fucking clown. Oh Lord.
Gabiru
But
is
absolutely,
based.
I really hope you guys enjoy our next episode of That Time I Got Reincarnated as a Slime Season 2. I really hope you guys enjoyed this one. I really enjoyed this pick. So Jay-Z, thank you so much for picking it. Aaron, I am very, 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 very excited for our next slime visit. Is there anything you guys want to still go over real quick?
Yeah.
Any parting words?
I need to tell Jay-Z to go fuck himself for this pick.
I'm sorry. I'm really sorry. I told you I forgot.
This one,
My brain must have removed it.
this one hit me in the feels, and this wasn't like I forgot about it.
Right, same. I do have one more thing that I kind of said to one of you as we were talking about it, and I think it's kind of important, and it just hit me again. I think the biggest overarching story of this anime is kind of Rock humanizing Revi, and at the same time Rock falling towards the darkness, but then at the end of the season he realizes that he stays in the twilight, and that's where he belongs.
Yeah.
I wish he would just go both feet in. I want to see fucking.
You want to see
Rock.
a dark Rock?
I want to see Rock in a Hawaiian shirt.
Yes.
If
Rock in
any
a
of you
Hawaiian
have
shirt.
watched,
Yeah.
if any of you have watched or are going to watch this show,
You'll get
pay
that
attention
one.
to the Hawaiian shirt.
That one's for you.
But, all right, you guys, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for all the people who have been listening. We really appreciate you guys. Leave a comment. Let us know how we're doing. If there's anything you guys feel like we should kind of change up or any recommendations you guys want to hear us talk about. So thank you guys so much. Jim Bob Joe signing out.
Love you. Bye.
Deuces.